I remember my senior year. It was probably one of the best years of my high school experience. And there are times when I think often that I would go back and redo it all again simply because it was such a great year. But this year, our seniors are experiencing a completely different year. We're going to talk about some ideas and ways that we might be able to minister to them right here today on the Youth Worker Daily. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Youth Worker Daily, where we hope to encourage youth workers just like you with tools, tips, resources, and helps so that you thrive in your ministry. My name is Jay Hyam, and it is another early morning in the same spot as yesterday. And again, bad lighting, bad audio, but hey, this is what we've got to do living in a COVID world. And that's actually what we're talking about this week. What does ministry look like in a COVID world? And we're beginning to talk about some of those topics that at this point we probably need to start thinking about or talking about because COVID has kind of messed with our calendars in some significant ways. I said in the intro for this episode that I remember thinking back to my high school years and my senior year. It was an incredible year. For me, I was kind of the shy kid as I grew up. Kind of stuck to myself, didn't really have a lot of friends, kind of had some really close friends, and that was it for me. I wasn't really one that would go outside of myself to try to do some crazy things. It just wasn't who I am. But my senior year, something inside of me just clicked, and I said, you know what? I'm going to make this year the best year I possibly can. And as a junior, I ran for student body president and won. I got more active in student council and leadership. I was playing a sport. I was a captain of the team. I had a great group of friends. And really, for me, my senior year was kind of like me coming out of my shell. And I just remember doing some really fun, amazing things at the school and with my classmates. And as I often look back to that, because it was such a sweet time for me, I think, man, I would redo my senior year again just so that I could experience those friendships and those events and relive those memories that were made. And as I start thinking about that, of course, that leads us to what our senior classes are looking at this year. And I know there's a lot of buzz kind of going around social media right now. People are posting their senior pics in honor and a way of celebrating the class of 2020. I think that's a great thing. And it's kind of gotten me thinking, what does ministry look like for the senior class? And I want to thank both high school graduates and college graduates, because at least in my case, while I have some seniors that are graduating, I also have some college leadership that are a part of our leadership team, and they're graduating. And so it's making me think, how do we even care for our college graduates? And so today I want to talk about some things that maybe we might be able to do, maybe not. It's going to be kind of one of those things, but some ideas that I have for ways that we can celebrate and honor and do something to kind of give our graduating seniors an experience, hopefully, that, that might say, well, I didn't get to do the things that everyone else has done, but at least I've done something, if even that's the right thought to have. And let's think about it. For the seniors, this season specifically is a sweet and special time for them. They're thinking about prom, they're thinking about graduation, they're thinking about shopping and packing for college, they're looking forward to graduation parties, and they're just there's something about the end of the year where you're just spending those days with friends and classmates, knowing that season in your life is coming to a close. And so this really is a special time for seniors. And I'll be honest, I've had to really remember what it was like for me as a senior, for me to have some compassion and some sympathy. Because honestly, at first I was just like, this thing will pass over, it'll be short, you'll still do all your stuff, so don't get into the whining just yet. But now as we move into April, and some reports are saying it's going to be maybe June. In some schools are even shutting down. That's it, end of the year. They're going to finish out their classwork online, and never again will they darken the hallways of their high schools or their colleges. And so with those things in mind, it's just kind of got me thinking, this really is a special time for our seniors. And I think in ministry, we need to start thinking about how we want to honor them and celebrate them. And how we do that is going to be different than maybe we've done it in years past. So a couple ideas I have for us to maybe think about. As I sat down and started thinking, what could maybe I do? Either with my resources, or if I had unlimited resources, what are some ideas that we could do to maybe celebrate and honor the seniors while giving them an experience so that they can say, hey, this was a great way for me to end my year. So here are some ideas that maybe will work, maybe won't. All right, number one. I remember I looked forward to my senior prom. It was one of those events that I think all seniors look forward to. Having that night of getting dressed up, going out, having dinner, doing dancing, being with that significant person in their life, and just having a great time with their class. I remember my senior prom was amazing. Afterwards, we got into a limo and we traveled down to the Jersey Shore, and we all sat on the beach and watched the sun come up, and then had breakfast and came home. It was just a really fun, sweet time. So when it comes to the senior prom, what do? Well, why not host a senior prom? Or at least host a mini senior prom. Do things like provide dinner, allow them to do dancing, bring in a DJ, even get a photographer to come and do those senior portraits, those senior prom portraits that become a favorite thing. I think there's a way for us to do that, maybe within our facilities, maybe with a neighboring facility, maybe tag teaming with another church to put this on, but giving them a mini prom experience and try to create an experience for them that they're gonna look forward to and remember. And that includes the decorating and the table. Just go all out. And I think there's a way to really make this a community effort if you involve some of the local groups within your community. Maybe get a restaurant or two to donate the food. Maybe get a local market to donate drinks and supplies. Get a couple businesses to help cover the cost of things like decorations and DJs. And bring the community in and see if you can't get people to kind of rally around your senior classes. I don't think the schools right now are thinking along those lines. Maybe some are in your areas, but I haven't heard a single thing about a prom in our area. And so I'm actually going to look to reach out to one of our other area local youth workers and say, hey, what would you think if we tried to do this, and see maybe what comes out of that? So think about it. Host a mini prom. Oh, and of course, make it free. Do everything you can to make it so that you can just welcome the students. The ministry implications of that could be quite significant. Maybe we'll talk about that another time, but consider that. How about a senior Sunday graduation? I know a lot of churches that I've worked in the past, often have a senior Sunday or graduation Sunday where they bring the graduating seniors up, and the seniors give a chance to kind of share their plans for the coming years, whether they're going to college or into the workforce. And then we give them little gifts and we honor them and pray for them, and that's about it. But what if we were to expand that a little bit, and instead of having just graduation Sunday, we actually do a senior Sunday graduation, where you allow them to wear their caps and gowns to the service. Maybe there's a time in the service where you're not just praying for them, but you're actually helping them graduate, giving them the experience of walking across the stage, announcing their name, declaring where they're going to go, either in college or into the workforce or the military, handing them their diploma, allowing for a moment for a photo, and then bringing them back together and praying for them. But it gives them the experience of actually walking across the stage, getting their diploma, and kind of wrapping up that season of their lives. And hey, why not invite the principal to come and actually ask them to be the one that gives the diploma and calls out the names? How cool would that be? So maybe a senior Sunday graduation. How about this one? Hosting a baccalaureate. It's an old traditional thing that used to take place in a lot of communities at the end of the school year. Churches would come alongside the schools and they would host these baccalaureate services. I know I've been involved in a number of them. There's different ways of doing them, but basically it's a worship service that celebrates and honors what God has done in the lives of the students. Usually it's a faith-based it's faith-based, usually. Okay, so come back and invite them to come to a baccalaureate service, a time where we just honor the things that God has been doing in their lives. How about hosting a graduation party? With the way things are now, who knows who's going to have a party and what those parties are going to look like. Because of people being out of work, there might not be the availability for parties in certain communities or for certain families. So maybe one Sunday after church, when we're all finally coming back together, maybe you're hosting a graduation party and just a place to hang out after the services with some punch and some cake and some snacks and allowing that time for the church to kind of rally around the graduates and celebrate them in a way that just honors their accomplishments for the past 4 years. So consider hosting maybe a graduation party. Thinking about college though, how about a launch party? As college graduates are beginning now to think career path and what's coming next, some of them might be beginning taking their first steps and starting new careers or whatever. So why not have a launch party where you can just honor and celebrate your college graduates and praying over them as they launch into adulthood. Maybe coming out of that, you can have some studies or some things that they could do over the summer to actually begin stepping into what it looks like to be adults, or to be adulting as the cool term is today. And then maybe one other thing, because things are not normal and we're not having the regular end of year celebrations and activities that we have, maybe we can start thinking about the future and how these students adjust to what's to come. An idea that came across about maybe 2 years ago, my wife and I were listening to a Sunday morning service, and a youth pastor got up and shared some tremendous ideas of ways that the church could be praying for and involved in the lives of graduates, both high school and college. And one of the ideas that we kind of took and said, when we're able to do this, we're going to make this part of our ministry, and that was to have freshman and first year mentors. Now, here's what I mean by that. Coming into your high school program, you've got rising ninth graders. It would be great to set them up with freshman mentors. But you also have the same thing happening in the college level. A freshman mentor would be someone who would just come along that first year of freshman college students, where they can be that kind of person that mentors and encourages and coaches them through that first year. And then on the flip side of that, coming out of college, what would it look like to have an adult to come alongside a graduating college student and kind of walk with them through that first 2 years of them being post-college, helping them to reconnect at home, reconnect in the community, reconnect within the church, be just a sounding board and an advice person when it comes to their career stuff, but a mentor that can just kind of walk with them through those seasons. I think a lot of times college kids get disconnected from life because they're away in these kind of bubble communities of college where they're living on campus and living in apartments near campus, and they're just in a different world while they're there, and then they come home and that world's no longer there. And so now they have to adjust and think about what it looks like for them to live. Actually, that might be a great topic for us to consider in a future Youth Worker Daily. But for now, what would it look like for us to have some mentors to walk alongside of those rising freshmen and those new graduated adults? So A couple thoughts right there for the class of 2020. Maybe you already have some thoughts and some things that you're planning and working on to doing. I'd love to hear that. I'm sure other youth workers would love to kind of maybe see what you're doing to help get ideas for what they want to do. And so can I encourage you to leave a comment below? Just real quick, type up what it is that you're thinking about doing for your graduating class of 2020. I'm shooting at the stars here. I mean, I'm really not sure how and what's going to work, but I want to be doing something and I want to be thinking of something. So leave your comments below, share what you're doing, and maybe we can all grow and learn together. As always, friends, be sure you're checking out the website, theyouthworkerdaily.com. We'll be posting some stuff about this there as well. And then, of course, make sure you're following us on social media. You'll find us at YTH Worker Daily. All right, guys, a little bit longer video than usual. Sorry about all of that, but hopefully some of this information, or at least some of these ideas, were helpful for you and getting you thinking about what to do with the class of 2020. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on the Youth Worker Daily.